agenda items next is our general consent calendar. And for our new board members at this time, this is the time to ask if you want anything pulled off the consent calendar. And then we put it to the side, and then we approve what's left of the consent calendar. Then we go back to those items, and we have who wanted to pull to speak to them. So items to be pulled from the general consent calendar. Board member Earl.
Yes, I would like item number 2 pulled, please.
Okay. Board member Belknap.
Yes, point of order, please.
Yes.
Thank you, Chair. I just wanted to say how much I appreciated Board Member Hymas reaching out ahead of time on some of these information items under the items under consent calendar ahead of time. Thank you.
Thank you. Board member Klein.
Number 3, please.
Okay. That's items number 2 and number 3. They were both actionable items. Is there a motion to approve the?
Chair, this is Board Member Cannon. I move that we approve the consent calendar with the removal of items 2 and 3.
Do we have a second?
Second. Council Brent Straight.
I have a motion and a second. The discussion to this will be those that will be doing there. So let's vote on this. The motion before the board is that the board approve the general consent calendar with items number 2 and number 3 removed. All those in favor, please vote. Hopefully we have this check thing figured out. As I'm scanning this, I'm not seeing member Hart, member Hymas, Straight.
It's still happening, Chair.
Okay, I see a hand flash on Hymas, so that would, I'm going to count that one. Board member Cannon.
Chair, what if we try raise hands on this and see if it works?
Well, let's try it. Okay, all in favor. Let's go to the hand raise.
And see if that works. That seems to hold.
That seems to work. Well, the motion passes unanimously. Okay, I still going to have to go back to that green check and red X as we're trying to figure this out. Sorry about these difficulties. Okay, board member Earl, do you have something you want to speak to specifically on the general consent number 2, contracts agreements for approval? And again, this is actionable.
Yes, it has to do with Panorama Education, which will be doing a mental health screening. The screening tool, from what I could look up, that we spent months looking through, it is not listed there. And so, anyways, I did text Christy Walker, but I wasn't able to get back a hold of her on this item just to check with that. So I will not be voting in favor of this because this is an expansion of both mental health screening and SEL data gathering. So that is my comment, unless someone has other information.
Okay. Member Norton. Your hand's raised.
I'm sorry, I'll take it down.
Okay. So when we're member Hanson. Oh, okay. We not seeing any other comments or questions. Is there any board members desiring to make a motion to move forward on our general consent calendar items listed under number 2? Board member or Vice Chair Davis?
Did Board Member Klein get to speak on her issue, or we're just going to vote on this one first?
No, just on 2. We'll
Okay.
do one at a time. I'm not seeing anybody wanting to move that actual item under number 2 forward. Oh, okay. Board Member Lear.
I move that the board approve the contract identified under the board agenda item 2. Is that enough definition or designation?
Yes, that includes everything under there. Is there a second?
Second, Board Member Cannon.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion to the motion? Seeing none, please vote. Let's try our X's. Well, hands are X's. Okay, leave them up if they can. This is going to be difficult because we have to inventory these. And I apologize for the difficulty. I don't know what we're going to do to resolve this. We've got quite a bit of action we'll be dealing with today. So the yays are, it appears it passes, but not unanimously. The yays are, and Vice Chairs help me out with this if I miss someone, is Member Cannon, Booth, Members Cannon, Member Booth, Member Davis, Member Lear, Member Moss, Member Straight, Member Hanson, Member Hart, Member Huntsman, Member Hymas, I thought I saw your hand. Are you a yes?
No, I put an X up there. I've got.
Okay, you're a no. Okay. Member Belknap, Member Norton. The nays are Member Klein, Member Earl, Member Hymas. Did I get those correct? Did that, and Lorraine? But the motion passes. Okay, Member Klein, you asked for item number 3, the data sharing agreement request, which was actionable. Did you have questions or comments on that?
Yeah, I just had a couple of comments on down in Roman numeral 2, paragraphs 3 and 4. It delineates who's responsible for answering concerns, and to me, it looks kind of like just a circular game. If a parent had a concern and they went to the school board could point to the Department of Workforce Services, who could then point to the school readiness board, and then they can point to the federal regulations and department. Anyway, it just looks like it might be one of those situations where it's hard to get an actual answer to concerns if everybody can just point the finger to somebody else. So that was a bit of a concern. Also, it talks about private daycare in here, which I'm assuming all childcare, maybe other than a government-funded Head Start type program, are private. And as a private entity, I wonder if parents that sign their children up for these daycares or childcare facilities realize what they're signing up for, that their children will be subject to all of this data collection and these programs. Is there some kind of parent consent form where they are told up front exactly what their child is being signed up for?
Okay, is there, Superintendent, I'm looking for staff, if staff can answer the question about the
we actually have an attorney from Department of Workforce Services on the line as well.
Okay, I'm
Whitney.
and I still have hands. Oh, I think Jennifer's got her hand raised too. So, Dr. Thronson, can you start with this? And
I will sure try. So Director Thronson of Teaching and Learning, how's my mic? I'm going to stop there.
You're doing great.
Okay. I switched mics hoping it would be better.
So much better. Thank you.
Excellent. Good news. So in terms of the memorandum, it's really an agreement between DWS and USBE, as legislation requires us to partner on school readiness. DWS is the administrator and the fiscal agent, but they are required to partner with USBE as part of this, as we kind of oversee the public providers and they oversee private providers. And so Office of Child Care kind of organization. So that's kind of the partnership piece of it. Related to the data, it's been a little while since I've had to get into the parent consent. In the early days, we would give them a form that they could sign to say, I don't want to participate. I believe we still do that, but maybe the DWS person on the line can confirm that. Otherwise, I'll check in with my team and verify. But we do have a form that allows the parent to opt out of the opportunity. At one point, we had the opt-in, but I think we're back to opting out. But there is an opportunity, and they are shared through the registration packet that this assessment is given, and they have the opportunity to opt out or to participate but not have their data submitted. They have some options that parents are afforded, given that they get to make that choice. And that can be confirmed in just a moment.
Okay, so we have someone from the DWS. Can you come on and introduce yourself? Name and title, rank, serial number, all that good stuff, and then maybe help with the question. I can't see you.
Yes, hi, this is...
Oh, there you are.
Hi. Yes, hi, this is Nuna Phillips. I'm Assistant Director of the Office of Child Care at the Department of Workforce Services. And yes, as Jennifer stated, parents are informed when they enroll children in one of the programs, whether it's a public program, a preschool program, or a private program, or a Head Start program that is receiving one of these grants, that the PEEP assessment is administered. And so they're aware that that is administered at the start and at the end of the year and could opt out of that process.
Is that with a form or verbally, or I think that's what Board Member Klein was asking, is it form documented or?
They are, when they enroll, one of the things that they do, and it's part of our data collection and part of one of the requirements of Utah code, that that parents identify whether their child meets the eligible child criteria, so that if they are economically disadvantaged and meet one of the risk factors, that is all done by form, or if they're an English learner student. So a lot of that onboarding is done by form, and the parents, I believe it's a verbal opt out, but when they enroll their children on the form, they're told that the PEEP assessment is part of what is administered at the program level. So there are forms involved. They can opt out verbally, but they do kind of sign up at the start of the school year, understanding what those requirements are. I hope that.
Member Klein, do you have any follow-up questions while we have Lynn Phillips?
I would be curious before voting for this to be able to see that consent form, to see how in detail it goes.
We can certainly provide that.
Okay. Not seeing any other hands raised. We do have item number 3, the data sharing agreement request. Is that a time-sensitive request, or is this something I'm going to ask staff? I didn't get into the time side of this. Is this a time-sensitive, or can this come back?
I don't want to speak on behalf of USBE. I would say if we push it to next month, I'm not overly concerned about it. There are data sharing and data protection language in the MOU that we wanted to have in place sooner rather than later. So if this is something that we can address after a vote, we can certainly do that. But if the preference of the board members is to hold off until next month, I think we could do that as well.
Well, we'll find out here in a minute, and if there's a board member that wants to move forward on the consent item number 3. And I'm not seeing any hands raised. So that will be coming back. Okay. Thank you. That concludes our general consent.